2 Corinthians 12, verse 1 through 10. It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. How that he was caught up into paradise, and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me, and lest I should be exalted above measure. Through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I. Have you ever thought about grace, God's grace? That we're here today because of God's grace? That we're saved because of God's grace? That grace which is unmerited favor, which God gives to whom he pleases, just like he gives mercy to who he pleases. There are some things that we did in the past, or we have done even now, and others have done the same thing, but because of God's grace, we're still standing. We're still here to testify of his goodness and of his grace. Have you ever sat down and think about God's grace? Jesus told Paul that his grace was sufficient to take him through whatever it is he was going through. His grace is sufficient, and God's grace is sufficient to carry us through testings and trials and persecutions. No matter what the devil throw at us, God's grace is sufficient to see us through. Continue to trust in him and seek his face and pray for more grace. Stay blessed.